Guys, I added some seafoam to the gasoline in the Big Dog. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run 2 tanks with the seafoam treatment. What I'm doing is I'm putting 4 ounces of seafoam to a full tank of gas, which is 4 gallons. I'm going to do that twice. Then I'm going to put my my cam inside the cylinders to see if it cleaned the tops of the pistons up a little bit. But someone asked me, what's it like to live in Pittsburgh? Well, I don't live in Pittsburgh. I live on the outskirts of Pittsburgh. But see, what we do is we consider this whole area Pittsburgh. You know, when you're like 5 to 6 or 7 miles near Pittsburgh, your mailing address is still Pittsburgh. Even though I don't live in Pittsburgh, my mailing address is Pittsburgh. Now, I've lived here. I was born in the city of Pittsburgh. I've lived here since 1961. I lived in this area since 1961. I lived in Pittsburgh within the city limits for 21 years. I've lived here for more than I lived in Pittsburgh. But I'm going to give you my honest opinion. And I'm going to try not to be biased against Pittsburgh, because I don't like living here. I'm trying to move. First of all, let me say I don't think this is a good area to retire in, because it's not a fast pace. It's more like an abusive pace. You know, which whenever you're near, it seems like what's happening today is whenever you're near a populated area, people are more abusive, they're more impatient. And so it's just not here. It's you know, like if you go to bigger cities, it's worse. But this area is getting bad. It's getting like that. Now, first of all, there's not much to do here. There's no oceans. We have some parks. The parks are nice. If you're not into walking, jogging, bicycling, or hiking, there's almost nothing for you to do here. You know, the parks here are pretty nice. We have a lot of nice parks. Trying to walk on the streets, you're risking your life. Because there is a lack of police right now since all the police things that went on over the past years. The police here have a policy, they're only on call. They no longer make common stops. Because I guess the police are afraid of incidents. The tailgating here is horrendous. Tailgating here is done by everybody, including the police. The police also tailgate here. And when I'm saying tailgate, I don't mean tailgating. I mean 1 or 2 feet off your rear bumper. I'm talking about dangerous tailgating. That's what people do here. It's common. Everyone does it. You know, so what happens is you're riding around here in your car constantly looking into your rearview mirror. And you see the people they're right up on the end of your car. That's common here. So you're going to have to be able to stomach that. There's a lot of hit and runs here because people here, they're low on money. A lot of people here are really struggling bad. So when they hit you, some of them don't have insurance. And they know if they report the incident, their insurance is going to go up, so they would rather hit and run than exchange insurance companies with you. You know, since COVID-19 went on, the hit and runs are possibly maybe 100% more hit and runs. than there was 5 years ago. So money here is very hard to come by. Money's tight in this entire region, is very tight. You don't see very many tradesmen anymore. What is it like to live here? Housing is still affordable compared to the rest of the United States. It's still lower. I'll give them that. Housing here is lower than many areas of the United States. It's very affordable. The dating scene here is extremely hard to meet anybody. There's almost nowhere to meet anybody. You know, so there's a lot of singles here, so that means these people are miserable, and they show it. You know, a lot of people here, it'll seem like they're walking around like they're zombies. What else here? What else can we cover? The elderly population, they're scared to death to come out of their house because the young people will virtually run them off the road. And, you know, because of the tailgating, they're scared to death to get on. The elderly come out around 10 o'clock in the morning. They do their shopping, and then they go back in the house, and you don't see them again until the next day. Like if you're into motorcycling, this is a very anti-motorcycle area. Very, very anti-motorcycle. You don't see any motorcycle clubs around here. You don't see any around here. The police here are strictly against motorcycle clubs. If you're a motorcyclist and you have a patch on the back of your jacket, brother, look out. The police don't like that here. They don't go for that here. Let me see, what else can we cover? The weather. It gets really cold here. It's like right now it's 10 degrees above zero. We don't get much snow here anymore. We get what I call inch at a time. Okay, you prison guys might take it another way, but it's not meant that way. We get an inch of snow at a time. The biggest snowfall here might be 6 inches. We might get that, might not. Right now we've been getting an inch at a time. We will get ice storms here, you know, to where you can't go out until the ice thaws out. The winters here start right around Halloween. That's when it starts getting real cold. I'm talking about like 25 degrees above 25 Fahrenheit. Right around Halloween it starts getting like that, and it'll last like that till the second week of March. You'll have very cold, bitter weather here for, what is that, 5.5 months? So we're talking about November, December, January, February, and half of March. Well, March will be cold, you know, so you have about 5 solid months of cold weather, 4.5 of extreme cold weather. It rains here a lot. One thing we don't have short here, we're not short on water here. You know, like out west, they're going through a water shortage. That doesn't happen here. There's so much water here, probably enough water to supply the whole freaking world. Because it rains here like maybe every 3 days it rains. The summer, you might have maybe 30 days, maybe 30 days of real nice weather, and that's about it. The summers here are short-lived. Storms, you will get horrendous storms here. You will get tropical winds here, tropical force winds. I've seen winds already here where I live over 80 miles an hour. Over 80 miles. Every year the winds here, you'll have winds at least 60 miles an hour coming through Allegheny County. There's actually been tornadoes here. What else can we cover here? The people are very unfriendly. Very, very unfriendly people. And I think that's part of because they're single, they can't find a lover, and they're real low on money, so they're just very miserable, rotten people around here, very unfriendly people. They don't have any belief in God. A lot of atheists around here. If I was to grade this area, I would give it a D minus, because if it wasn't for the housing, the cheap housing, I would give it an E. I'd grade it an E or an F for flunk. But because of the affordable housing, I'd have to give it a D minus. For retiring here, I would not advise it whatsoever, unless if you're a serial killer. The male and female population is probably about 50-50. There's probably about 50% females, 50% males, and they're both about the same. They both don't know where to meet each other, and they're both miserable and rotten. Partly, like I said, because they don't believe in God. They're broke. They don't have no lover. They don't believe in families anymore around here. There are very few. You don't see any families walking children around here. Instead, what you'll see is the children walking the father and mother. The children here boss the father and mother around. You will see everybody with holding a smartphone, staring at constantly mesmerized by their smartphone. Even when they're having sex, you see them. If they have sex, you see them staring into the cell phone. If they're in church, instead of watching the religious person, they're staring into the cell phone. Then they do the same thing while they drive. Here you're allowed to text while driving. Texting while driving in Allegheny County is completely legal. Everybody does it, including the police. The local governments here are extremely crooked. They take payoffs. If you want anything, just pay them off. You'll get basically whatever you want. Democrats in Western Pennsylvania rule. They rule. If you're not Democrat here, if you're Republican, become a Democrat. You'll get a lot. You'll get a lot of things coming your way. The Democrats here rule. The Democrat Party has existed in Western Pennsylvania for the past 97 years. They've dominated this area. So that's my take on the area. And like I said, guys, I'm doing the seafoam fuel treatment and that. I'm going to run 2 tanks through that, and then we'll take another video. I'll put that camera in under cylinders, and we'll see if there's any improvement. Take it easy.